what is a data type? Data type basically gives types to values. Okay, what do we mean by type? Okay, so let's say, for example, you are writing a program and this involves different kind of scenarios like using numbers, using somebody's name, using a school name, using whatever it is that you want to use. We need to be able to specify the types of these values. So take for instance, your name is going to be classified under the section of a string. That's a data type. And when we are talking about numbers, this is going to be classified under the section of an integer. So that's also a data type. So basically, what we want to learn here is the classifications of types. Okay. And we are going to see how that works in Python. And as a matter of fact, talking about data types is not only applicable to Python, it's also applicable to some other programming languages because this is the base of how you actually create your program. And now let's take a look at here. So here you can see we have data types, and we mentioned that it is an essential concept in Python that you should familiarize yourself with. And the reason is what I've already mentioned because that's the base of creating your program. And let's take a look at point number one here. So we have int, which we actually call int as a short form, and the full form is integers. And it is used for integers, basically numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. Okay. And we have float, and this is used for the floating point numbers. So we are still talking about numbers, but this is not an integer anymore. This is a float, and this is a number with some decimal, right? So let's say 0.01 and so on, right? Or whatever it is that has the decimal in between. So we use float for that. And we're talking about complex right here, and this is used for complex numbers, right? And also we have str and bytes. So the short form str basically represent string, okay? And this is used for text sequences. So take for instance, if you want to represent your name, and let's say your name is John, for instance, and that stands under the section of a string data type. And here we can see we have bool, okay? And this is used for true or false values. So either something is true or false, then we should be able to represent it correctly. And let's say you have a light on in your room and you want this light to be off. Okay. So when you switch the light off, that is a zero. So that means the light is off. And when you put the light on, that is one. That means the light is on, and that is true. And when it is off, that means it is false. So the true false is used to denote whether something is true or false. Okay. And we have the non-type, so which basically that is not defined, and it is associated with non-value in Python. And these are basically types of data types that we have. And we will begin to use each one of them, and we will keep introducing you to how to use each of these data types for you to understand the meaning. So at this point, you just have to know that the data types is something that is very essential when you are programming. And it is something that you will keep on using during or throughout your programming career. So we are going to make things very easy for you to understand.